You're listening to Living with Louie. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to this week's edition of Living with Louie. And this week, I just would like to take a little time and try to cover a subject that I see a lot of questions about in the various Facebook groups that I attend and circulate in, and I'm constantly seeing where people are like, "Where can I get educational materials? Where can I learn more about this Lewy body? And how do I get a hold of more information?" And I can tell you that I'm not the end all when it comes to where to go to find all of this information. But I can tell you the places where I have found information that has been very helpful to me and very helpful to my wife, who is my caregiver. And I thank God every day for my wife. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman, and it it takes a very strong person to be a caregiver to us folks that have Lewy body. And the the thing that I ran into is that there's a lot of people, uh, including a lot of medical professionals, that really don't have a knowledge of Lewy body or some of the problems that Lewy body can bring to the table. And I will give you, for instance, that I was in the emergency room not too long ago, and because my heart rate was very erratic, and when I told them that I had Lewy body, they were like, "What?" And so I had to take a minute and show them where they could get some education, if you will, as to who they were dealing with and what they were dealing with. And it's frustrating because you expect, I guess, a certain level of knowledge to be out there, at least a basic understanding. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And many people have loved ones that are their caregivers, and caregivers are wondering, what is it that we're up against? How do I help? Where do I find help? Well, I will tell you that one of the good resources that I have found is the Lewy Body Dementia Association, and they can be found at www.lbda.org. They have a number of materials that are available. I actually went onto their site and ordered some information packets that I thought were kind of helpful, and one of them was "Facing Lewy Body Dementia Together" is the name of this booklet that they sent me, and it's an introduction to what Lewy body dementia is. And its goal is to increase knowledge and share experience and build some hope. And it starts out by talking about what actually Lewy body is, and that's something that, for instance, I saw a thing on one of the feeds where someone was asking, well, my husband was diagnosed with Lewy body. Where did he catch it? Well, unfortunately, that's not something that there's an answer to, is exactly how someone ends up with the Lewy body dementia or the diagnosis. I can tell you that it took a long time to get my diagnosis. It was 2 years maybe in the making. Um, and it's alpha synuclein proteins in your brain that are taking over the cells, and so it's not something that you go down to the grocery store and you shake hands with somebody, and all of a sudden you end up with Lewy body dementia. Just doesn't work that way. But in this booklet, it goes into some of the terms and some of the things that you can see in someone that is been diagnosed with Lewy body. It goes into medications that maybe you should totally avoid. It goes into what the long term prognosis is. Um, and it goes into the fact that it's a family disease, that it's going to affect your entire family. And they really encourage you to share your diagnosis with those people so that they um, they can help you face it as well. And to be honest with you, one of the things that I'm grateful for is that my wife has tried very hard to become more knowledgeable as my care provider and my wife, and certainly the person who looks out for me the most. And she's learned how to communicate some of these things to my care team. Um, so it's just an excellent resource if you're looking if you're just starting to face this or you're unsure. The Lewy Body Dementia Association has a whole host of things, and if you go to the lbda.org, you're going to find listings for local and online support groups, educational materials for you. And believe it or not, they also will give you educational materials for your healthcare professionals. They have webinars quite frequently. They bring on people who have experts in Lewy body and clinical care through their Lewy Body Research Centers of Excellence. There's just a number of things, and they actually even have a Lewy line, if you will, that you can call. Um, and the Lewy line is 1-800 LEWYSOS or 1-800-539-9767. So just a fantastic organization, and more than happy to send you lots of information so that you're not going at this and wondering why or what do I do or any of that. I know that when I first got my diagnosis, it was very disheartening to go online and read that what the prognoses are for this disease. And when you start looking at that, um, it it became depressing, to be quite honest. And there's a lot of things that go into caring or taking care of yourself or someone caring for you with Lewy body. I mean, for instance, a prognosis that I read said that 2 years from the onset to 8 years was what your expectancy was. Well, I don't think that quite holds true because there's people who have lived 20 years with this. So I would encourage you that if you haven't gotten engaged with educational resources, so that you know more about what's happening with you and your loved ones know more about what's happening with you. Um, I would strongly encourage you to look at the Lewy Body Dementia Association. They even have a Lewy Digest that you can get, and that is with www.lbda.org/sign-Lewy-body-digest-0, and they will keep you up to date. So there's one of the resources that I found, and I found it to be very useful. Along with this booklet that they sent me on facing Lewy body dementia together, came with it a wallet card that you can carry, a medical alert card, if you will, that you can carry in your wallet that you can present to anyone who's treating you, so that you can let them know very quickly what it is that you have, and it does give them access to the Lewy Body Dementia Association, but it just says that it says I have a disorder of the brain known as Lewy body dementia, which could make me appear confused and have difficulty moving or speaking normally. Please call my family physician, and it has the information on there. But it also says emergency treatment of psychosis in the Lewy body, such as visual hallucinations of people, animal, or misidentifying one's spouse or one's home, are common in Lewy body. The goal of addressing these symptoms is to ensure the safety of the patient and others. And it gives a warning. It says up to 50% of patients with Lewy body who are treated with any antipsychotic medication may experience severe neuroleptic sensitivity, worsening cognition, heavy sedation, increased or possibly irreversible Parkinsonism, or symptoms resembling neuroleptic malignant syndrome, which can be fatal. So I think it's an important thing to have, and to place that in your wallet, or have your my. They gave me two, so I have one, and my wife has one. So um, one way or another, we're going to make sure we get the word to whoever it is that's giving us treatment. But they also sent me a booklet that well, you can go online and you order these booklets, and they send them to you. They're free of charge. And one of them is called "The State of the Science," and it kind of goes into what's being done, what research is being done, and how you can support that research. So the other thing that I found quite interesting was the booklet that that talks about how to have the conversation with your physician or your healthcare provider. I will apologize if you happen to hear some page flipping or something like that, because I'm trying to make sure that I look and give you the correct information about where some of these resources that I found are located. The National Institute of Health publishes a publication, and it's publication number 18 AG 7907. And this particular publication is Lewy body dementia information for patients, families, and professionals. This goes into the basics of Lewy body dementia, diagnoses of Lewy body dementia, causes, risk factors, common symptoms, diagnosis, the actual diagnosis, treatment and management, and advice for people living with Lewy body dementia. Goes into caring for a person with Lewy body dementia, and it gives you a whole host of resources in the back. This is a very informative publication, and I would strongly encourage anyone that is dealing with Lewy body to engage with the with this resource. I do believe that this is also on the Lewy Body Dementia Association's website. I'm not 100% sure, but I can certainly check. The I just went on to their website, and certainly the publication here that we're talking about, the information for patients, families, and professionals, is available on their website. So I strongly encourage you to go there and get a copy of this information. It's very, very helpful. There's also a piece that I ran across, and this was put out by Dementia Australia, and it talks about the autonomic changes that happen to us folks that have Lewy body. The things that bladder, bowel function, temperature regulation, which is one of the things that hits me all the time, and then heart rhythm. And that's where some people got thrown into a curveball, was when my heart rhythm. And when I asked actually a specialist in cardiology whether or not the autonomic system being affected by my Lewy body could be a contributing factor to my visit, he went, no, no way. Well, what he basically told me was that he doesn't really understand Lewy body dementia, and we changed cardiologists very quickly. Also, the another publication that is at the Lewy Body Dementia Association is Caregiver Burden in the Lewy Body. This goes into a lot of information that you can share with whoever your caregiver is, and share with your loved ones, so that it'll give them a good understanding of exactly what it is that you're dealing with. Um, Also available is Diagnosing and Managing Lewy Body Dementia, and this is the comprehensive guide for healthcare professionals. And this will give give you a chance to at least educate yourself on what they should be looking for, and um, if they're open to it, maybe they would be willing to take a look at it as well. One of the things that I ran into very soon after I started with my therapy team, um, they they had a comprehensive Lewy body symptom checklist that actually is also from the Lewy Body Dementia Association. And one of the things that was hard pill to swallow was they said you squarely check every single box. So um, I would encourage you that if you're just starting out with trying to maybe help a loved one that has Lewy body, or if you yourself are just getting a diagnosis and you're not quite sure, and you're looking for answers, the Lewy Body Dementia Association is probably one of the best resources that I've found, and they actually operate couple of Facebook pages. They, one is for people, just for people with Lewy body, and then they have one for caregivers. And they actually have a Zoom meeting or a support group meeting for people with Lewy body every week, and that is on their Facebook page. Another great place to find information is called PubMed. That is a little bit more difficult to navigate, because when you first search Lewy body, you're going to get a whole ton of things. So you're going to have to narrow down exactly, I think, what you're looking for a little bit more. But with a little bit of patience, you can find a whole plethora of information on Lewy body. So I hope that this is going to open the door for a lot of people to have an understanding of what they were diagnosed with, and also for caregivers on what they can do and how they can best help you. And certainly plenty of information here. So I encourage you to engage with the Lewy Body Dementia Association, and I wish you the very best in your journey, and know that you're not alone. Please remember, folks, that we are 100% voluntarily funded by our listeners. So please go to the link at the bottom of your favorite podcast provider, and you'll find a link there that says support the show, or you can find us on GoFundMe under Living with Louie podcast, and every dollar counts, and every dollar helps. So please take a minute and go in and support the show. We certainly would appreciate it. The only thing we try to do is cover our operating costs and equipment maintenance costs. So we thank you and have a great day. We'd like to thank you for joining us for this edition of Living with Louie.